Hello guys, welcome to a new video of Fischer series. Today we go round number 6 of the Bled tournament of 961. It's Fischer against Geller, and this is a 22 move Rui Lopez Brilliancy. It was so brilliant that Fischer received a standing ovation after the game. So let's see what happens. Fischer has the white pieces and he starts with e4. e5 by Geller, knight f3, knight c6 and bishop to b5, the Spanish or the Rui Lopez. Here a6, Morphy defense, bishop to a4. And here usually we see b5, bishop e7 or knight to f6. But here d6 by Geller, some kind of closed modern Steinitz variation. Here castles by Fischer, and the purpose is to bring out the light squared bishop and pin the knight immediately. Now h3, bishop h5, still keeping the pressure. c3. Since if you play b5 we want to make space for our bishop, and also we are preparing the d4 push. So what now? Well, here mainline goes b5, knight f6 or bishop to e7 again. But here Geller plays queen to f6. And believe it or not, queen to f6 is actually already the losing move, since Fischer now will play 15 beautiful moves to win the game. Let's see what happens. Fischer starts doing so by playing g4. And he actually annotated this game in the 60 memorable games, and he says, I realized the danger inherent in weakening my king's side, but felt that I could capitalize on black's lack of development before he could get to my king. Now force is bishop to g6, attacking the unguarded pawn, but Fischer simply gambles a pawn. He plays d4. Since after bishop takes, knight to d2, attacking the bishop and defending our knight, bishop drops back to g6. Look at how many times the light squared bishop moved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times already. And Fischer is slowly getting out the pieces, and now he will open up the center. He starts by playing bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop, and here d takes e5. Well, actually Fischer says, a few weeks after the game, it dawned on me that I didn't play queen a4. Let's look at queen a4. If you play queen a4, obviously the threat is taking and winning the rook. So defending with the knight looks logical, but after pawn takes and rook to e1, double attacking the central pawn, e4, simply knight takes e4, giving away a piece. Since if you take the knight, we have this beautiful move, queen takes c6. And if you move the king, we're winning the rook. If you take the queen, we actually have checkmate, like this. But Fischer also realized that you don't have to play knight to e7. You can also play king to d7. And after pawn takes, the game still goes on. Something like rook to e1, bishop to d6. And there's no immediate tactical blow here. But okay, we saw pawn takes e5, and now knight takes e5. You cannot take the knight because then you're losing the queen. It's pinned to your king. So what now? Well, Geller develops his bishop, hoping to castle soon. But now actually Fischer doesn't take the pawn, because then something like h5 and this can get really dangerous. Fischer actually takes the bishop. And here Geller went into a long think. What to do? Take with the queen, take with the pawn. Well, if you take with the pawn, this does look dangerous. But now knight to e4. Queen to h4, still looks very dangerous here. Knight takes with check, pawn takes and queen takes. And even though this looks like checkmate, white is actually the one checkmating black here. The game would simply be over like this. So that's why Geller didn't take with the pawn, he took with the queen. So what now? After queen takes, rook e1 check. Here you could defend with the knight, but then we have knight to e4, and actually you cannot castle because then you're losing the knight here. Okay, but what about long castles here? Still, after knight takes, rook takes, attacking the queen, queen goes to a4, pressure here, bishop will come to e3. Beautiful position for white. So that's why Geller here plays king to f8. Knight c4, and here h5. Geller tries to create something on the king's side, but Fischer is one step ahead. Knight takes d6. And after pawn takes, bishop to f4. A double attack on the pawn. What to do? Well, here Geller played d5, which looks logical, but that's actually losing the game. Tal, after the game, told Geller, why not rook to d8? Well, if you play rook to d8, something like queen e2, keeping a lot of pressure on the e file so the knight cannot develop. Something like pawn takes, the pawn is defended. And it looks like we can play queen to h7, but the problem is bishop takes d6. And if you take with the rook, it's actually mate in 1. So you cannot bring the queen to the h file, you cannot develop the knight like this, then you're losing the rook. You cannot develop the knight to e7, then you're losing the knight. So black is in a so-called Zugzwang, which is a position in which you don't have good moves left. For example, a waiting move like queen to f6, attacking the bishop. Now queen to e3, now hope to exchange queens, but simply queen to g3, a double attack here, attacking the queen, queen to d7. And white still keeps improving his position, while black has no good moves. So anyway, Geller played pawn to d5, and now queen to b3. H takes g4, and here queen b7, attacking the rook. First, Geller takes the pawn with a discovered check, and this does look very dangerous, but simply bishop to g3. The rook is under attack, rook goes to d8, and now the final move of the game. I would say pause the video here and find the last move of Fischer. Well, the winning blow here is queen b4 check, and Geller resigned the game. Why did he resign the game? If you play rook to d6, it's actually made like this. So you cannot defend with the rook. What about defending with the knight? Well, then you're losing the knight and also the rook. So 2 pieces. And if you defend with the queen, you're basically losing the queen and the game. This was a beautiful game. I really hoped you liked this video. If so, please like, subscribe or comment. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.